What's up, everyone? This is episode 32 of the Sports World Podcast. My name's Nick, here with Jet, Dylan, Mike, and Colton. Today, we are briefly recapping the MLB lockout, discussing some of the MLB free agents and trades that have, the news that's gone down over the last week, predicting the remaining free agents, and answering the questions that you guys sent in. Starting with the lockout, correct me if I'm wrong, and add on if there's more to add on, but the MLB and MLBPA, the Players Association, failed to reach an agreement on a new CBA early in December, and it sent MLB into a lockout. That 3-month lockout officially ended last week here in mid-March, allowing the new season to begin in mid-April or early April. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to briefly discuss that. A lot to talk about, so we're not going to go through every single detail, but let's start with just thoughts on how it all went down.
Well, I mean, problem number one of the lockout was the fact that there was like a 45-day dead period where the owners refused to even go to the table and negotiate with the Players Association. That was probably the worst part of all of this. But eventually they finally got to a point where they were going back and forth, actually talking about the numbers, even though they were super far apart. And after a long time, they finally got it. I don't know what details we exactly want to get into here, though.
It's just
I'll share what they agreed on, Jet. What they agreed upon.
Well, it was the CBT thresholds, which I don't fully understand. The pre-arbitration pool money, the money that will get paid to players that are under arbitration or in the first 6 years of their career.
And something about. Was there something about minor league deals in that too?
Yeah, there was also the minimum contract.
Right.
A player.
And then any rookie of the years get a full year of service time.
Top 5 finish and some award voting gets another year, something like that. Yeah. I mean, that's not entirely relevant because that's rare that like a rookie's going to be in that type of conversation. But just generally, it's the more of the money and like luxury tax threshold type stuff that they worked out.
Yeah, then they implemented the Steve Cohen tax.
Yep. So like I guess one of the key details that I would want to talk about here would be the fact that when it finally did come down to that CBA that ended up being agreed upon, it's interesting that in the MLBPA, because there's 8 executive committee members, I believe that's what they're called, who are like the people who are actually negotiating. I know Max Scherzer like leads that group. It's like they're 8 like leaders or whatever, but they all voted against the CBA, but the player reps for the teams voted in a majority to pass it. So that's an interesting detail.
Do you want to talk more about that, or
what did you think about that, Mike? The fact that all the player reps voted against the executive committee of the MLBPA.
Well, let's start with the blown 8-0 lead. That's going to be a meme for a while.
Yes.
I don't know. It's kind of crazy. You don't usually see the team like reps kind of go against the committee, but
that's unprecedented. It's never happened.
In this case,
it's never happened.
In this case, it was more of like okay, it's fair enough to where we can hold on to this new CBA until we have to discuss the new one, and to just get on the field as soon as possible.
Yeah. Even though we did have to lose a couple weeks of the season, which is really annoying, but
it's being made up.
Yeah, at least we still get 162. That's all that matters. But it was so preventable, though. I felt like just if the owners were always willing to talk the whole time, we probably wouldn't have had to have anything go wrong with the season. But we did have to move the.
There was just a huge stretch of just radio silence. I mean, it was stupid. I mean, they could have been meeting every day if they really wanted to, but obviously they didn't want to. Was the shift part of that? Was that like part of that, or was that part of something like kind of connected?
That's coming into effect next season,
right? But the
was
whole
part of the
agreement
CBA.
about it,
Yeah,
right?
It was part of the CBA. So
just wanted to touch on that because we didn't initially.
Yeah, so
and then it was what was the other thing? It was like banning the shifts, bigger bases, right?
Banning the shift, and then pitch.
I hope that means like
timer.
And larger bases.
Yeah, I hope the shift part means like regulations on the shifts, I guess, because I like it's that 2 on each side thing, but like they should be able to. I don't know. I like the shift. It's cool, but
so what,
also
sorry. So what it was that got put into the CBA was that those rules changes I think it can happen anytime 2020 for the 2023 season or after. The MLB has to give a 45-day notice of those rule changes, but anytime after 2023 they would get approved.
Yeah, and then I think the other day, the MILB or the whatever the hell it's called, announced that they're gonna be experimenting with them in the minor leagues.
Yeah,
So,
they're gonna be using
Robot
them
ups.
this year.
robot
They're gonna be
ups.
doing a bunch of crazy stuff in the minor leagues this year to test things for next year.
Yeah, some smaller rules that I guess like the more casual MLB fans might care more about that are being implemented for this year are no more runner on second to start extra innings.
Well, actually, it was.
Well, they're
so
revisiting.
they
It
might
was
revisit
reported
that.
today that they would revisit that conversation.
As of right
for that
now-
rule specifically.
As of right now, I guess
Stupid.
it's no more runner on second to start extra innings.
Yeah,
Double headers will be back to 9 innings.
Is good.
What else? 12-team playoffs this year.
12-team playoffs. That's
That's
the big one.
big. Yeah. I
So
don't-
for those of you that aren't very good at math, that's probably going to be 2 byes to each conference and 2 wildcard matchups. But I'm curious to see how they do that because MLB's always been the 3 divisional winners will automatically get in the second round. But now with just 2 byes, I don't know what they'll do. I guess they'll do what the NFL did a few years
we
ago.
should definitely know that. I don't know it off the top
Yeah,
of my
I
head
don't-
exactly what the format is, but they've
I
announced
don't know
that.
either.
I'm not sure.
I don't
I'm
love
assuming
it,
it'll just
though.
be what the
I don't
NFL
love
did.
it.
What the NFL used to be, where 2 byes and then
It's 2 buys and then
And
the
then
next
like
divisional winner gets a 3, and they play the 6,
and the 4
and
and
then
5.
just 4 and 5 are just wild cards, I guess.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
I liked it as 10. I mean, I guess because it's the normal, I guess, what we've been used to. But I mean, I liked it divisional and then the 2 wild card regardless of division, and then they play in the next round, whatever. I think it was easier, but now or better. But now that 12, obviously that creates better revenue because more teams will be in the playoffs, and there's a possibility that more star players and teams that the Blue Jays that just missed out, they could make the playoffs. As an example. So I mean, I think it's good for teams that are on the brink, but also it's kind of new. It'll take some getting used to.
I've always thought the MLB and NFL playoffs were perfect for how they were designed, where it's 4 divisions in the NFL in each conference, and those 4 will get home field for the first round or their first game. MLB was 3 divisions, so those 3 would automatically get in the ALCS and NLCS, and the last 2 wild cards. I don't know. I always thought it was perfect. I don't know why they changed it, but I'm sure we'll adjust and think it's fine.
Yeah, it should be fine.
So yeah, a little brief talk about the MLB lockout and the new rules that are being implemented. Anything you want to add, or should we move on?
Just glad we got baseball, man. That's all that matters. It was super ugly. I mean, there was many times during the negotiations that the 2 sides were like upset or quote disgusted with each other. But now that we're past it, nobody really cares. It's whatever. I'm glad we
it's
got it.
bad. It's bad when the lockout lasted longer than Tom Brady's retirement.
Sure. Dude.
All right, moving on to our second segment. MLB free agency has begun. There have been many big names that already signed or be traded, and many others still remain unsigned. So as of right now, we're going to discuss the players that have already signed somewhere or been traded somewhere. And for our next episode, we'll add on to that if more happen. Let's start with the Cincinnati Reds and the Seattle Mariners. The Reds are sending Jesse Winker and Eugenio Suarez to Seattle. Cincinnati will receive Justin Dunn, Brendan Williamson, and Jake Fraley. Did I pronounce the name wrong?
It is Eugenio Suarez.
Eugenio. I was going to say, preparing for this episode, I don't know how to pronounce 99% of these names.
It's okay.
So I apologize in advance. I meant to say that before. Eugenio.
Another quick disclaimer. This is being recorded on the 14th. So just that's where we are.
In case something nuclear happens on the 5th in the morning. Yeah. I like that.
All right, yeah. So again, sorry for any mispronounced names in advance. I don't know more than half of them. So, thoughts on this trade?
Boy,
The Reds are
Seattle's getting serious.
Yeah, and the Reds are just shipping out everything.
Yeah, the Reds are not interested in winning at baseball. That's something that's being shown here.
That
What was
division-
the name of the pitching prospect they got?
Justin Dunn.
That's Justin Dunn is the big leaguer. It wasn't there.
Brendan Williamson and Jake Fraley.
Brandon Williamson. He's a pretty good pitcher. I mean, that still doesn't mean that this trade was necessarily worth it or anything, but he's a decent prospect. I don't have a problem with Justin Dunn, but it's not enough for Jesse Winker and Eugenio Suarez.
The main problem I have with it is everybody knows that the Reds aren't trying to compete this year.
Right.
It's the fact that I don't remember who was the one that said it, but the Reds put out a quote and someone said that, oh, we're doing this to free up space for like free agents or whatever. We know they're not going to sign anybody. Nobody's going to want to go and play there after you're trading everybody away. So it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're blowing it up. It's kind of hard to see that city. I don't know. It's not really relevant, but Cincinnati deserves a winning team. That's a really nice
And
city.
Yeah.
honestly, they're probably not even done yet. Luis Castillo,
Oh yeah, they're
Vale,
done.
Votto might even want out. Who knows?
They're not done trading people.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's-
They're done winning.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're- for quite
That
a while.
division isn't like the strongest in the world. I mean,
That
they could
division,
make make a push in that. Because obviously the Pirates suck, but other than that, I mean, there's decent teams. They could be among those decent teams, but they're just deciding not to be.
No, but good for Seattle though. I mean, they're like
Yeah.
they're like a piece or two away from being like a legitimate contender in the AL.
Yeah, I know DePoto's making good moves. He's been making them for a few years.
I mean, they were one day away from making the playoffs, and they've had arguably the best off season. So,
Yeah.
gonna be a great team to watch this
I
year.
really
Very
like
exciting.
They got Winker and Suarez now. I mean, what's up with Toro now then? Because
Well, they don't have an ace, do they?
their
Yeah,
infield gets
they
weird.
signed Robbie Ray.
They have Robbie Ray.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Wow.
You need what they
Pre-lockout.
What they
Yeah.
need is starting pitching depth though. They don't have
Yeah,
much behind
for sure.
Robbie
For
Ray.
sure.
That's like the biggest need right now. But yeah, their lineup: Ty France, Adam Frazier, Abraham Toro. I mean, I don't know between Toro and Suarez, but Toro was decent last year. I know. They have Kellenic still. They got Mitch Haniger, Kyle Lewis. Like, they got some guys. Like, I love their lineup as is right now. They just need some more pitching.
Yeah,
They're
and
gonna
I
be
think-
an exciting team.
Yeah, no doubt. They're gonna be fun to watch.
I was just going to touch on it. The Reds aren't getting enough back, considering Jesse Winker's crazy season he just had. I mean,
Hmm.
Yeah,
just not enough.
Jesse Winker's incredible, dude.
Yeah, I'm not sure what. I know I've been reading about this stuff. We'll get to this, but
I mean, another
biggest
crazy
move
thing
that-
about the Mariners is they have Kellenic, they now have Winker, and they have Julio Rodriguez, who they might, maybe this year, depending on what happens, but if not, definitely probably next year. So, yeah, they got some guys for the future, too.
Yep.
How good is their farm system? It's up there, right?
I'm not sure. I think it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
they've
Kellenic's
graduated some guys though. That's
Still,
I'm
yeah.
not
Yeah.
sure.
I don't think Kellenic's graduated.
I don't know where it sits now.
But they're a team on the come up. That's what
Yeah,
we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
for sure.
All right. Moving on to our next deal. There are 5 names in this deal. I don't know how to pronounce 4 of them. So Matt Olsen is heading to Atlanta. What this means for first baseman, free agent, superstar Freddy Freeman, we don't know yet. But it's not looking like he's going to stay in Atlanta. I know Dylan, you'll probably have some comments on that. But first, Oakland will receive Christian Pache,
Sure. Works.
Shea or Shea Langeliers,
Shea.
Just Shea.
Shea,
Mike
Ryan
yeah.
Ryan Kusick,
Sure. Cusick, yeah.
Joey Estes.
Good job.
Let's
Close
go.
enough.
Not too
Yes.
bad. Oakland receives those 4. Atlanta receives first baseman Matt Olsen from Oakland. Thoughts on this? Dylan, we'll start with you. He's got the hat on.
What do you
He's got the hat on.
Just won the
This
World Series. How
news
does that make you
came
feel,
out-
fan?
This news came out at what, like 2:25?
Yeah, it was
Like
something
that?
Like that.
I was walking from my last class to take a test, and like my legs were just like jelly. I was like, "Oh my god, what are we doing?" Because obviously it's a knee-jerk reaction, but trading one. Well, I don't know if he should. There's debate about whether he should be one still with prospect rankings in regard to Pache. I think Michael Harris is going to overtake that on like every league pretty soon, but he already had on some. I'm glad we kept him. So Pache is obviously 1. Langeliers is 2. Cusick was 6, and Estes was 14. I don't really care about Estes, and Pache. I'm not like insanely mad about, just because I know he was one of the greatest defensive prospects we've seen in a while, but also he wasn't able to hit the big league level at all. And, that could be attributed to the COVID season and being, having injuries during spring training. But I mean, I'm hoping he can obviously do well for Oakland. But trading Langeliers really hurts because I thought he was going to be untouchable. I thought that if obviously it takes a king's ransom to get Olsen or anyone of that caliber, especially who's under 2 more
years, I think.
I think 2 more years.
2 more years.
Yeah. And then it's just Langeliers I thought would be true that would take over once Darno and Pena are kind of older, declining, whatever. I thought Langeliers would be the catcher for the next probably 8 years because he's an elite defensive catcher. He's getting there offensively. First round pick at Baylor a few years ago. I was really excited for him. I was really upset to see him go the most probably. And then Cusick obviously was, well, not obviously, I don't know, people might not know about this, but he was the first round 21 out of Wake Forest, 6'6" starter who is projected to probably move into a leverage reliever role. Touches 102. He's got a good slider. I mean, I'm upset to see those 2 go the most. There's just I have had some time to think about it. I don't hate it. I don't love the fact that again Langeliers and Cusick mainly, and then to a lesser extent Pache, but that's what you're going to have to give up. I saw this tweet from some Brave reporter that was, imagine what the A's would have asked for if Freeman already signed, and then you try to make the deal because then they have all the leverage because they know there's no other option. You need Olsen, so they might have asked for even more. They might have asked for Michael Harris, which would have been horrible to trade him. And Olsen's obviously, this saves money for the Braves. Olsen's on a much cheaper contract than Freeman will get or would have been with the Braves.
Younger.
Although he's 5 years younger. It's and not entirely relevant, but he's from Atlanta. I don't know. It's weird because obviously signing Freeman would have been nice. We have the money because Liberty Media is forced to post their revenue shares or whatever, and they've had the money and they were like, oh, we want to wait until after the COVID season to see what's going on. Obviously had the money and just let it get free agency, which was stupid. And I that was in between last year and Julio, which wasn't as hurtful because we already knew it was going to happen. But this is there was still hope and there wasn't a damaged relationship. Now it probably is.
No, definitely.
Yeah, apparently because they didn't. Well, according to the post, how reliable that is, they didn't tell him about the deal or whatever, which I guess it's whatever. But this allows for more money to be spent, hopefully, in other areas like addressing the outfield, like a Conforto or Soler, or bringing back Rosario or Peterson. And then there's pitching that they can bring in because they have, Soroka is a question mark, obviously. Morton's a question mark just because he's, old. Overall, I'm not upset about it. I am upset about it, emotional-wise, but baseball team-wise, I'm not because Olsen was arguably better than Freeman in a much more pitcher-friendly ballpark last year. And obviously, and Truist is one of the top, I think, top 5 or 10, in terms of hitter friendly. Obviously, they have the short porch in the right field, which he can be hitting some homers too. So, I'm excited for the baseball aspect of it. I just hate the fact that number 5, who I've been watching the last 11 years, is going somewhere else. It doesn't feel real.
It's not a bad deal at all for the Braves, but then as you mentioned already, it's just as a sports fan, you hate to see legends on your team go, no matter what the situation is, or likely go. He's not gone yet. I don't want to say anything like that.
Hey, what if we sign him as a DH?
It's still possible.
The thing here is I don't know if any baseball fans outside of maybe people who don't like the Braves, I think everybody's collectively confused on how you win a World Series and your best player walks. It's not a good look.
It's not that uncommon. I feel like when you spend that long and you're that loyal to one team for so long, once you win, It's like you feel like, all right, now I can go experience something else. Now I can be a
Yeah,
new
but
city,
that's
a new
not the-
team.
I can.
You see it in multiple. You see it in every sport, though.
No, I get it, but Freeman's not saying he wants to leave. He was.
No, I
Freeman
know.
was saying he wants to be a Braves for
But-
life. Blah, blah, blah.
Like,
It
that's
was a little too much money, though. That's the problem. At the end of the day, they still want to contend. They don't want to.
I don't think it was too much money at all. If he was asking for 6,180, I give him 6,180. Let him be, average for the last 2 years. That still gives you 4 years of the serious contention.
Yeah,
And
If
obviously,
you would have taken some opt outs.
favorite. What? Mike, what'd you
So,
say?
like on the
Guys.
flip side of this, I understand it from a baseball standpoint. I understand getting younger at first base and having an affordable contract and using your farm that maybe you don't think you'll even need by the time they're able to come up. Like Pache, I mean, what's your outfield going to look like now without Pache being in the picture?
Well, it obviously depends on what happened in free agency, but
Yeah, so you guys are
there's
still looking for pieces.
Acuna, who is like basically back, but just not like
Yeah.
field ready. He can probably start as a DH, I guess. And then there's Ozuna, who's still under contract, so we'll include him in that for now. Which obviously he would be better as a DH because he is a bad outfielder, but Acuna will be there for now, and then I guess they'll switch. I don't know what's going on in the rest of the outfield. Obviously, Tender Duvall or whatever. And I'm not, he'll play something.
I mean, isn't it the Braves that are they're attached to some big free agents still out there, right? Or am I tripping?
Not they're attached to Soler, and they're but I haven't seen much in terms of like a Castellanos or like a
because the thing is now with this trade,
really
they
anyone
can
else.
afford it. I think. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what
Yeah.
the financial situation is like, but just going from Freddy Freeman to Matt Olsen is a big difference in payroll. So I'm assuming you guys have the money to go make more moves, and that's the way that I see this as being most worth it is if you guys go out.
We do.
And
Yeah, I mean,
make
and
those
there's
moves.
what I would most rather do is just get which I guess is another type DH type guy, but he can play the outfield a little bit better than Ozuna. I'd rather I'd like to bring Soler back. Maybe if not Soler, maybe you can go out and get Conforto, get another lefty bat, which would be nice. Because I like him a lot. It's tough, obviously. I mean, I don't know exactly what the outfield's going to look like now because Michael Harris is probably the top prospect in the system now, and he's undoubtedly the top prospect in the system now. He probably already was to begin with before Pache and Langeliers got traded. He should be up by probably next year, but I don't know what that leaves for this year, which is it's just going to be. I don't know. We got to make some moves, obviously, because right now we don't have much. And Pache was going to be starting, and I'm sure y'all saw this, but Pache is stuff on Twitter about being so thankful with the whatever. And then there's a picture of him smiling and warming up and stuff. And then an hour later.
Yeah.
And then obviously, again, I don't know if I'm not saying obviously, Ryan Snitker found out as he was being the camera in his face, microphones in his face, he got told the news. He was just standing there, talking to the media, or whatever. Oh yeah, by the way, passing reported, blah blah. And then Anthopoulos was holding back tears as he was saying this is the hardest move he's had to make.
At the end of the day, no matter what happens, you always have that hat and that World Series.
It's true. That's true. I need to be more appreciative of that because knee-jerk reaction is oh my god, this is horrible. But again, that's factoring the emotional standpoint, which is hard to take out because it's relevant. You got to as Anthopoulos, you got to weigh the emotion and the PR reaction, that kind of thing, the PR standpoint. But no, I mean this. I'm gonna get more stuff like this.
Notice how mine doesn't say World Series, and it never will.
Never will.
So yeah,
this right here, I'm gonna get more of these things. You'll see them in future episodes. I'll get a sweatshirt, I'll get a shirt, I'll get a whatever. No, but I definitely appreciate the World Series, and this sets us up to still be contenders. Obviously, it just hurts losing all those prospects. But Olsen's 5 years, that's a big part of it. As long as we can get him to an extension, which we better, because if not, then we just traded prospects for 2 years and then he leaves. We better sign him an extension. I will be probably happy with this. It'll take some time.
All right. We do need to keep on going. There's a lot to talk
Yes,
about.
that was my dissertation about Freeman and
We'll
Olsen.
stay in the NL East though with what in my opinion was a pretty confusing deal. Nelson Cruz to the Washington Nationals on a 1-year deal. Thoughts on this?
Okay, confusing is not the word I would use, but it's strange. But to me, I understand what happened. I think I understand what happened here. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think because obviously this was reported to be like a race between like contending NL teams that were mostly in on Nelson Cruz, particularly the Padres and Dodgers, one report said. I think the Nationals came in and they said, we want to buy some extra ticket sales because they are horrible.
So bad.
So they overpaid for him because even though these teams that were like the Padres and the Dodgers, they have money to go get a guy like Nelson Cruz, but there gets to be a point where you're not paying this much for a 41-year-old. And
How much
the
was the
Nationals
contract again?
beat that number.
It was 13.
13, I think. Yeah.
1 for 13. Okay.
1 for 13. And
I mean, that's not.
no, it's 1 for
horrible.
13 with
At the
a
club
second year option. Yeah. No, it's a
Yeah.
mutual option.
That's a mutual option. Okay.
And how much is that for?
It's like $3 million or something.
That's
But
not
so like if he
it's not
decides he wants
bad.
to play one more year. I
I
mean,
mean, it's not that bad considering what he put up last year. I mean, he's still productive as a 41-year-old. I mean, that's not. I mean, obviously, the Nationals suck, so it's going to be. He's going to be wasted on that team, obviously. But I mean, it's not a horrible contract for them, considering
yeah,
they
but I
try to get
also see
talent.
why you don't want to do that though.
They just need talent, and they added talent. So I mean, I get it, but would have made more sense probably to go to one of your teams, Californians over there.
Yeah.
Probably would have made more sense, but
He hasn't won a ring yet either, has he?
Nelson Cruz.
No.
not that I know of. Well, was he on the Rangers?
one? Yeah.
team?
Wait. We might be dumb here.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
trying
think he
to
has.
think of the timeline.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Jet, look it up.
I don't think he has.
So age, I'm saying that would have made more sense for an older guy, go to a contender.
Even if
Yeah,
even if he has already
not
won,
won a World Series, that's correct.
yeah, even
guess
it
so.
would still even if he had 2 already, I think it would still make sense to go to a contender for one of his final
Yeah.
seasons. Just
Yeah,
to
of course.
continue to be playing playoff baseball, but now he won't
Should
be.
have taken
but
advantage of the DH and the NL and went to a good NL team, but
Now he goes
Bad
to
NL team.
quite possibly
part of me just feels
maybe
like
second worst.
part of me feels like it was like I want to play with Juan Soto type of thing, but
Because that's the
why? Like I don't
And
know.
I'd like to know what the other offers were because, like, I don't know. My gut feeling was just the Nationals probably just beat out the other offers, and they were like,
It's-
okay, whatever. We don't care if he goes to Washington. Like,
If-
if it really did come down to the Padres and Dodgers, they're like, we're not going to increase our deal if he's just going to go to Washington. That's fine. I'm not worried about Washington. I'm worried more about the Dodgers, or I'm worried more about the Padres.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
and obviously Cruz and Soto is the DR connection, so that'll be
Yeah, that's
that'll be
why I
fun.
was thinking like
Could be.
maybe
I
that's
mean, you
why
could,
he
you
went
guys
there,
could be
but
right.
Well, man, obviously
Well,
speculation.
it could be a mix, or it could
That's
be
got to
neither.
be some
Who
part
knows?
of it. I would assume.
I mean, he
you know,
definitely
it's-
didn't go there to win. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Right. He went there to probably be, a clubhouse guy, a good mentor for Soto's young. Obviously, Soto's amazing, but he could, maybe learn some stuff about being a better clubhouse guy with that, language barrier that they kind of have with some of the, guys who don't speak Spanish. I mean, that could be something that he learns. I mean, I think it'll be worthwhile for Soto, but Cruz, not as
Yeah,
much.
not really. Yeah.
Yeah, to sum this one up, it's just weird.
All right.
That's all it is.
The Yankees are making moves as they trade for Josh Donaldson. The Minnesota Twins will receive Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela.
Yep.
Sweet. All right. Thoughts on this deal?
Unexpected.
Unexpected.
My initial thought was similar to everybody else's. How is Josh Donaldson with Garrett Cole going to work? Obviously, last year I believe it was last year where Josh Donaldson called out Garrett Cole for using substances.
I completely forgot about that, bro.
Very aggressively, I might add.
Hey, my
I
opinion,
completely forgot.
Josh Donaldson's probably the nicest guy in the league. I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Him in
And let
New
me-
York is
I
a
don't-
dangerous combo.
Let me clarify this before people think I'm stupid. I like him because he was brave. That's it. So continue.
Josh Donaldson's fun. but
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like a gamble if you're in New York for him to actually stay healthy and actually remain productive. To me, it's like it's interesting. I think it definitely has some upside though for them.
My thing with it was after watching Garrett Cole's press conference and then they asked him about it, to me it sounded like it was okay, we'll be good, we just won't talk to each other type of thing. Like it didn't seem like they made up or anything. It just seemed like, okay, we'll stay on opposite sides of the locker room and we'll just be chill, we won't start anything.
I mean, and that's, that might be the best case scenario. I mean, it's better than anything starting, but, worse than making up, which isn't entirely realistic considering how hard Donaldson went at him. But they'll figure it out. And if not, then it's fun for the media and fun for non-Yankees fans to laugh at their dysfunction. So it's a win-win for us.
You should go get Correa too. Just add on to
it. All right, the Reds send another player away. Sonny Gray to the Minnesota Twins. They will receive prospect Chase Petty. What does this mean for the Reds and the Twins?
The Reds.
Yeah,
they're part of the fire sale.
It is.
I saw for the Reds, but it just doesn't make sense for the Twins.
Yeah, why?
They
got their ace. They got their ace.
Like Sonny Gray should be going to a contender, maybe sit in a 3-4 hole, maybe.
The Twins are such a joke of a franchise, dude.
I don't get it. The direction is weird.
They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like at least for the Orioles, I know we're rebuilding. We know we're supposed to suck. Like the Twins, they're just bad every year.
They don't know if they're contending or if
they have no direction.
Yet they're making a move for an established player, giving a prospect, which is something that bad teams usually don't do.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, no, it's odd. I don't really get it.
Make the team name TS. Take out the win part.
It's weird if you're the Twins to even try and compete at the stage that they're at because their success would rely on Byron Buxton being healthy. That just doesn't happen.
And they can't rely on that for at least for right now.
That's what I'm saying. Byron Buxton is so good, but even if you do bring in a bunch of people and try to compete, like a bunch of people along with Sonny Gray, if they make a bunch of moves in free agency these next few days, you're still relying on Byron Buxton to be healthy. You're not going to win if he's not healthy. And it's just never happened. He's never stayed healthy for a full season.
It's so unfortunate because he's so good. But,
so good. He's one of the best players in baseball.
His start to the last season before he got hurt was like MVP type stuff. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah, for sure.
Next move, I expected the Mets made some moves. They signed free agent right-handed pitcher Chris Bassett to a deal.
That was a
trade.
What are
your guys?
No,
they traded for him.
Yes.
All right. Well, they traded for him. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, that's part of the A's fire sale.
Which they have. I feel like they have that every year, dude.
Every
I'm so confused.
Because they don't paying people. They're like the Rays.
Right. As far as the Mets go, I mean, obviously they add Scherzer, they have DeGrom, they have Taijuan Walker, who was good last year. They have Bassett, who was good last year, and he'll be good. That's a really good rotation. I mean, that's
awesome.
Obviously that's the reason.
I somehow forgot about Scherzer.
Yeah,
that's actually huge.
And just to clarify, the A's are getting JT Ginn and Adam Oller. So.
Those are good prospects.
They are good prospects.
Mets fans didn't feel great at first. I know, people that are familiar with their prospects, I know they like those two guys.
You just have to go. You just have to go in with Scherzer as your two with his age. You have to do it. It's. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, obviously, an underlooked or overlooked part of this again, as I mentioned, that Taijuan Walker obviously is really good last year. I think David Peterson's still there, the lefty. He's been solid in some of his starts. I mean, this is a really good rotation that's obviously trying to keep up with the back-to-back division champions. So, and then obviously the Phillies aren't really doing much right now. Marlins are kind of in the middle, and then obviously the Nationals suck. So I mean, it's they have to do these moves, and I think it makes sense for them. Then again, prospect. This is kind of unrelated, but they gave up PCA for 2 months of Baez, which was not
I
amazing.
mean, they're just trying to win. I mean, Steve
Yeah,
Cohen just
they're
takes
just-
his shots is the thing.
Cohen's just trading everyone.
He
You
does
know, if
not
it works
care.
out,
He
it
literally
works
doesn't.
out.
If it doesn't work out, he'll just have another $300 million payroll next year with a whole new group of players.
That's facts.
True.
But and I mean, also this roster is just incredible. Like adding Bassett gives them like an even better chance at contending. I think their roster is one of the best in baseball, no doubt. And you also can't forget. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. I was
gonna say you can't forget Cookie as well. I mean,
Yeah.
He pitched last year. He wasn't good last year, but that was under the pressure of just coming back from his injury. I think after an offseason, I mean, it's kind of overlooked that he could come back and be back to being almost like elite level, like he was
somewhere
before.
near where he was. Yeah.
Yeah, like that would be
possible.
insane. Their starting rotation could be one of the best ever, if that's the case.
And my thing was just going to be, well, always got to remember, little caveat, it's the Mets. So
That's fair. You always think their roster is going to compete, and then something happens.
And players get injured.
Yeah.
Last year they went on a huge losing skid in like July, August. I mean,
yeah, somebody randomly slumps horribly. Cough Lindor. That was not great. But yeah.
All right.
They're a good team now. Like Bassett trade ensures depth. They're really good.
Yep.
The Toronto Blue Jays making moves. They pick up left-handed starting pitcher Yusei Kikuchi for a 3-year, $36 million deal. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Of course. Of course, Mike's laughing.
What's wrong with Kikuchi, man? I love Yusei. No, I think it's a good pickup for them. I mean, now that you talk about great rotations, you talk about this one. You have Kevin Gossman, Jose Barrios, Hyunjin Ryu, and now Yusei Kikuchi with Alek Manoah, and Ross Stripling is still there as a 6th starter. They got some depth over there in Toronto. Yeah, Pearson.
I think
Pearson, yeah, the guy,
super depthy. Like Toronto's one of the depthiest teams for starting pitching in baseball right now.
I think we should do a pre-lockout like transaction refresh post. So I think a lot of MLB casuals completely forgot about signings like Gosman.
True. Yeah.
Definitely do that
I like
for
that.
sure.
Real quick about Pearson. If anyone's been watching the podcast for a while, like, consistently, I once said he throws 190 miles an hour. So, fun fact about him.
That was like mid Spotify days, bro.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
Oh, Kikuchi's really solid. He's got a ceiling. It's nice. It's always nice to have another lefty in the mix with Ryu. Like I went between him and Ryu, one of them is going to be pretty nice.
I went to 3, maybe 4 Mariners games this year in Seattle. I think he started in like every single one, which was so weird. But I just kept seeing him. So yeah.
According
I like him.
According to the Blue Jays fan side page, apparently Pearson is expendable after Kikuchi's deal, which is interesting.
I kind of get that though.
It's understandable.
If they go flip him for a position player that's under team control, that'd be nice. I can see it.
But would you rather trade him or Manoah?
Ooh, depends. I mean, keeping Pearson's a bigger gamble. Like I feel like somebody would be more likely to give up a ton for that gamble than for Manoah. But then again, Manoah's already established, so I don't know. I don't know what their values
got
are.
Like he's not quite there yet. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they manage, because they have a lot of pitching depth.
Yep, for sure.
All right. The San Francisco Giants get another pitcher, Carlos Rodon, 2-year, $44 million deal. Jet and Mike as NL West rivals fans. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
It's so annoying.
Should ask Colton about it. Because Colton's a Giants fan.
It's so annoying how great of a move it is.
True.
Ever since they took Farhan from the Dodgers, I just knew that they were going to start being good soon. And it really made me mad, but...
All right, but it's an even year. The Giants are winning at most 60 games.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I wanted to pick this team to have such a big fall off this year just for the plain fact that
they're making moves.
So much of their lineup overachieved. But
and they're
it's
all
like
kind of older too.
You don't even have to have that good of a lineup to be winning games with this rotation. You have Logan Webb, Anthony DeSclafani, I guess Alex Wood. He was decent last year, and then now you have Carlos Rodon in that mix. Like that nuts. That 1-2-3 of Webb, DeSclafani, and Rodon. That's going to be insane. Like they're all young with upside. They're all pitching really good.
As long as they don't
Sure.
pitch DeSclafani against the Dodgers, they might have a chance.
But the GOAT is gone. Mr.
Goat is gone.
Don't
Mr.
dude, I see. I'm gonna have to slap you when I see you now. You know.
All right. Other thoughts on that deal?
Man,
It's
a good deal.
What was it?
It's-
What was it?
it's-
2
2-year, 44 mil.
44, so it's pretty high annual
AAV.
average. That's
Yeah.
like a Dodger deal, which I mean, forehand's there, so
basically what
expected.
they're getting into.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw somewhere that I guess the lesser teams were complaining about how the Giants can now afford to do like a 2-year.
I saw something about that. Yeah. Like,
Stop crying,
just
bro.
spend,
bro,
like-
just
Just spend more money, and if you're not willing to spend more money as the owner,
yeah, I don't know why you're laughing, Nick. This is your organization.
true.
No,
Exactly.
I'm just kidding.
that's a good deal.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good deal for the Giants.
I don't even have a favorite organization, dude. All right. Moving on to our third of 4 segments. We are going to briefly predict which of the remaining free agents will go where. Or I guess where the remaining free agents will go. Again, this is being recorded on the 14th. If one of these guys signs, the 15th,
Tomorrow.
the morning of the 15th, then scratch it. But
It'll be
let's
on-
start with Freddie Freeman. We already briefly talked about him earlier, but where do you guys think he's going to go?
Not the Dodgers. Please, anything but that. But no, realistically, I mean, it probably should be. I mean, they're the most equipped to do it. But for the sake of making an original prediction, I'm not going to say the Dodgers. I'm going to say Toronto. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah, because he's Canadian. Yeah.
So my thing is, we know Toronto's not really gonna outbid the Dodgers. It would be more of a him being from Canada and wanting to go there.
But he's also
But he's
from
also
California.
So
Right.
I don't know.
Is he more from California than Canada?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
his parents are from Canada.
He grew
So
up in
he's-
California.
He's got dual citizenship, but he spent his youth.
Yeah.
Well,
I
yeah.
believe I saw an Instagram post from Chelsea, Freddie's wife. And it was like- It was in like the reflection of like something, and it looked like it was at Dodger Stadium.
and
So,
there was a blue heart on it.
yeah, I was about to say it
So-
looked like it.
And then people were saying how it was weird how a sale there was a sale for her Atlanta baseball merch and ending on a certain day or whatever. I don't know.
And they also, I mean, this has been a thing for different sports all the time that people speculate about. Some means nothing. Obviously, in this case, it meant something. But he pulled Charlie, his son, out of like the baseball league or something that he's in a few days ago.
Well, I
Which-
mean, yeah.
Sometimes you pull him out of school, that kind of thing. Sometimes matters, sometimes doesn't. In this case, it did. I think he should not stay in the NL. That's my
Yeah.
I'm so with it. That's
so with
exactly
it.
how I
Yeah,
feel.
he should go. This is gonna be like an outlandish thing. I'm gonna come up with some kind of
Okay.
rationale for it. He should go. This isn't even outlandish. He should just go to the Angels. I mean, still LA. That they have like
What's it?
better players than the Dodgers, so why
I'm a
not?
fan. Let's do it.
And they're in the
Uh,
AL, so why
For
not?
me personally, I think he's going to sign with Baltimore. I think it's a great
Oh,
fit. After losing Chris Davis, I think they could use a new first baseman, and he's a great
course.
fit. So
Oh man.
Of course.
I got Baltimore.
So for me, obviously, I want him to go to the Dodgers. Honestly, I'm fine if he doesn't. I just want him to sign somewhere so that the Dodgers can kind of focus on other things. But
Yeah, because they need other things badly.
they do. There's still holes there. I
Life
promise
of a
you.
Dodger fan.
I mean, they won like 100 games, NLCS game 6 or whatever.
But guess they lost two.
Freddie,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Dylan.
Yeah. Thank you, Nick, for giving me that lob.
So they need more players. There you go.
Nope. They just suck.
Yes.
All right. So Mike, is your prediction the Dodgers?
Yes.
So we can move on.
Unfortunately,
Carlos Correa. Ugh. Sorry. Shortstop Carlos Correa. Where do you think he's going to go?
Boring.
Back to
Back to
Houston.
Yeah, back to Houston.
It's the only thing that makes sense at this point. I don't know. Nobody else
I
is
don't
gonna
know,
pay
man.
for him.
Or I could still see the Yankees if it was a short,
Yeah.
not a long-term deal. If it was
People
like
were talking about the Yankees, but I mean, they obviously just added an infielder, which isn't,
I mean, he's better than Kiner Falefa, so.
Dude, if he
Hear me out.
goes to the Yankees, I'm gonna go
Bro.
so bad for Kiner Falefa, dude.
Hear me out. Hear me
So
out.
excited to shave his beard.
Hear me out. After losing JJ Hardy,
He's not going to
the,
Baltimore. He's
the
not
Orioles
going
can
to
use
Baltimore.
him. The Orioles can use him. It's a good fit. I got Baltimore.
Yes, because you lost JJ Hardy recently.
Hey, okay, so I gotta
I'm glad you acknowledge
Right.
that.
do they have a lot of trash cans in Baltimore? Would be my question.
Yes.
yes.
No, but they have a lot of trash.
Yeah.
They have a lot of trash on a lot of trash cans.
Oh my God.
Fair. Baltimore is a can't say that word. Never mind. Baltimore is
Oh.
yikes.
What were you about to say?
Oh.
Can't say this. We got kids watching.
Oh.
That was a boring one. He's going back to Houston.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Trevor Story.
God, I have no idea.
Where's he going?
Well, he should have already been traded and extended. But
Do we know who's in on story?
anyways,
Oh no, not Colorado.
Well-
definitely not.
Because they're getting Correa, I don't see it happening. But if they don't get Correa, I would say the Orioles get Story.
dude. Okay.
Trevor
Just-
Story and Castellanos might be the two that we're gonna go over that I don't know much.
Yeah, we
about.
haven't seen much about where they're linked to, which is
I mean, fit wise, you got to think
confusing.
St. Louis.
Oh yeah, imagine.
That's like I guess the most reasonable as of right
But I
now.
haven't heard that. That's
Or
weird.
again, if he's taking a
That's
short
a-
deal, maybe the Yankees. I don't know.
That's a good left side of the infield.
Yeah.
Not like we've seen that
Gee,
one.
it's almost like they've played together.
Yeah, let's get some jersey swaps together, them playing together, and
Yeah.
see how it looks like.
All right, so we're gonna move on from Story.
Sure. Yeah. It's
It's
like
just-
weird.
it's just
I guess we'll say
uncertainty, we don't know.
we'll say
I would
St.
say
Louis.
St.
but-
Louis. Yeah.
Well, the next
That's
one's also a
good.
weird one.
Fair
Weird ones you
enough.
mentioned. Nick Castellanos. Where
There's a
where's he
drive
going?
deep into left field. So
I mean, in my dream world, I want to say the Padres just because we need to. Well, but in order for that to happen, Eric Hosmer would have to get traded, which is not possible. So that's my dream world. But
hey, I'll take
It's
him
tough.
to attach Robert Hassel.
You know,
at this point,
Yeah.
I don't even. I'd consider it. But now I love Robert Hassel.
Baltimore's outfield's already kind of decent.
Okay, dude. Listen, buddy.
But-
You're not spending a dime on any players. Your
But
best
we
bet. Your best bet is Adley living up to the hype.
lost Nick Markakis. Why not replace him with a new Nick in the outfield, Nick Castellanos? He's going to Baltimore. That's what I'm saying.
That's
Where could
That's some good,
Castellanos even go?
it's good. Good rationale.
Adley-
How about not in the NL East?
How about Milwaukee? That'd
They
be
don't want
fun.
to spend anything either.
They don't
That'd
That
be
would
fun.
be
I mean, the Brewers have been attached to big free agents, though. Maybe not Castellanos, but I think they have the money to do it. That'd be cool, like a
Definitely,
contending
yeah.
team like that. I'm gonna say the Milwaukee Brewers, but
I'm gonna say
that's
send
blind,
the
just like,
Baltimore Orioles.
just like
I'm
Trevor
gonna say-
Story.
I'm gonna
That's
say the
this is
Padres.
blind. The
Yeah,
Padres.
it's Nick was about to say the Padres. It's interesting. I don't know. Also, as we're recording this, Cat just hit 60 points. So
Season
That's
high
insane.
for anyone.
this past few weeks of obviously it's not an NBA episode. The past few weeks have been like 50 everywhere. 40, like Josh Hart hit 46. Like who was Josh Hart?
So who is Josh Hart? That's messed up.
All right, Mike, where do you think he's going?
I'll say Philly.
Philly. Team up with
That'd be fun.
Harper.
That would be fun.
I would not like that.
That'd be a solid fit. All right, and our final free agent to predict: Chris Bryant, third baseman from the San Francisco Giants.
Okay, for some reason he's supposedly going to Colorado. That's the only
They're
team
trying-
that's been strongly linked.
It doesn't
to
make
him.
any sense.
They're trying to fake compete.
They have
That's
like
like
nobody else.
That's like the Lakers having LeBron and not making the playoffs. Oh wait.
Yeah, they're going for the ticket sale deal. Like I said with Cruz, it's like they're gonna go get a random star to pit with a bunch of nobodies. I don't know why Chris Bryant would do that. I feel like Chris Bryant probably hasn't already done that because he's probably holding out to see if anybody from like the Freeman sweepstakes or one of the other big free agents kind of doesn't get who they wanted and would be interested in him. But it's really weird. I don't like it, but I guess Colorado's the best guess as of right now.
Well, one team recently lost their third baseman.
All right. So Chris Bryant, you're going to say you're lost Machado. So Chris Bryant should come to Atlanta because because he can play left and we don't have many outfielders.
I mean, that's
that
the
would
type
be
of player
something that I like.
I don't think that's that crazy.
Yeah.
I wanted to make it somewhat reasonable. I mean, it's not that crazy. Obviously, he can play. I mean, he can play left. He's not like amazing.
Yeah, no, he can.
He'd probably be the best.
I mean, he's better than
outfielder on the Braves, except for Ronald Acuna.
Yeah, I mean,
because all of those guys are bad.
Duvall won a Gold Glove, whether it was deserved or not.
Oh my God!
Adam Duvall won a Gold Glove. I'm sure that's deserved. Yeah.
I mean, since
he would be good. Yeah.
Since losing Manny Machado, the Orioles have been in need of a third baseman.
Well, you can do this for everyone.
My prediction is Chris Bryant to the Baltimore Orioles. Book it.
Yes.
Hey, Nick, I'm going to tell you right now, Nick, you're about to go 0 for 4.
No,
I don't know, man.
He's got a good shot at getting one of them.
He go for 5.
Or 0 for 5. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Our fourth and final segment is follower questions. I kind of need to go.
We're going to do
the Alonso.
You're right.
Alonso car accident and Tatis
situation.
Right. I don't know much about those right now, so Jed, you want
we
to
can
go
let
over?
Jed talk about that for the most part.
Well, let's start with Pete Alonso. What do we know about that situation?
He was in a major truck accident.
Okay. They were on their way to spring training.
Okay.
He was in his truck, I believe, with a couple of dogs.
Okay.
And the wife was following him. His light was green. Somebody came speeding, ran a red light, hit him. His truck flipped like 3 times. Wife immediately saw it, called 911, signaled other cars to come help. Had to completely break the windshield to get Pete out, and I believe the dogs are okay.
The story was he kicked the windshield in to get out.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what he did or not, or they just helped him get out. I don't know. Either way, though, he did get out, and he is okay.
The truck landed on the driver's side door, so that was
the report was that they were okay, right?
Yeah, everybody was okay.
That's incredible.
He was that sounds thankful to even be alive.
What's crazy to me is the fact that he practiced the next day.
Wow.
So I was just like, how are you not at least injured from that?
That's wild.
Seatbelts, kids. Wear them.
And don't run red lights.
All right.
Yeah, apparently it was like a driver, or maybe they were doing something. I don't know.
All right, Fernando Tatis Jr. Jet, I'll let you take over for that one.
Okay. I'm sad. So what supposedly what happened was back in December.
Here we go. Nick's getting his jersey.
Back in December, Fernando Tatis Jr. was in, I think, the Dominican or something like that, a different country. And he got into a minor motorcycle accident that wasn't crazy bad, but he did injure his wrist. So he was seen in some like Instagram photos and stuff with like a brace on, and people were like concerned about it a little bit. But at that time, he didn't talk to team doctors because they weren't allowed to, a little bit because he wanted to, but you can't speak to team doctors during a lockout. So once the lockout was in place,
that was during December, right?
I don't know when he thought about reaching out to doctors, because the thing about Tatis's thing is he said afterwards his wrist wasn't even hurt, like he didn't feel bad, it's just a little bit, and then he felt fine.
He said it was minor scrapes.
Yeah, so once he got to start prepping for the season and start swinging, that's when it flared up and became a problem. And then he saw Padres team doctors.
That makes sense.
And they found that it was a significant fracture, which is going to sideline him for about 3 months if he decides to get the surgery, which he's currently undecided on whether to get a surgery.
He has had too many of these situations where he's on the fence about getting a surgery, plays through it, gets more hurt, that kind of thing. I think he just needs to go through this one. I mean, obviously, and then the shoulder is like a lingering thing that kind of goes on for whenever you're swinging a baseball bat, you're still gonna feel, or for another season of swinging, you're gonna feel something there. But I think he probably should just go through this one.
Yeah, he absolutely
be
should.
best.
I'd rather make sure he's available in 3 months than it risking being longer if he tries to just let it heal and then play and then have to get the surgery. That would, I can't believe that's even in consideration.
Yeah, no, he just needs to just get through with it because he'll be back for what, like, early July type or late June. That depending on when he gets surgery.
Yeah,
But,
it'd
somewhere
be
around
like
there,
mid
and
to
that'll
late
be
June. Yeah,
best case scenario.
Yeah, that would be
what's going on.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Our fourth and final segment is follower questions. I have to go right now, though. So, Jet, if you want to get those. All right, Jet's going to take over follower questions because I got to go. So, hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I'll see you next week. Peace out. See you guys.
All right. Wait. Oh, my God. Okay.
All right. So, Hostman Jackson, what's up?
All right. Let's see.
We're gonna get a lot of questions, I'm sure.
First one.
That's why you might
Best record this year will go to who? If it isn't the Mets, you're wrong.
All right, buddy. Well, your whole team's gonna get injured. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do that. But
yes, you do.
I think we have to see what happens with the offseason. Just start talking about who's gonna have the best record.
We're not gonna talk about the things you do, Dylan.
I conjugate Spanish verbs. Okay.
All right.
It will not be the Mets. I guess for now the easy choice would be just be the Dodgers, but I mean, we'll see.
All right. Name someone who will be an underdog player this year.
What does that mean?
Like, so are we talking like somebody who was bad last year that could get this year?
Yeah, somebody that's not expected to do well this year, but you think will do well. We'll go with that.
Well, last year we had that whole list of breakout candidates, and that was kind of related to this. We hit on Austin Riley. Credit to Colton.
Yeah, we'll do a bigger version of this.
We'll do one of
just
those.
Answer our own personal answer right now if you want.
Someone who wasn't someone who's not expected to do great this year. I don't know. There's a lot of players.
Okay, so after last season, if anybody expects him to do good this year, I don't know what you're smoking, but speaking of smoking, I'm gonna go with Cody Bellinger.
Speaking of smoking, you think Cody's gonna be good this year? I mean, that's not that hot of a take. I feel like that take is out there. All right, I'm gonna go for that one. I'm gonna go with Patrick Sandoval. I'm a big fan of his from the Angels. Young starting pitcher. I thought he was on his way to a breakout last year, but I think this is going to be his year to actually be a quality starter the whole season. What else? Sorry, I have to find a question here. What should the Cubs do to be a contender?
They just traded their entire team.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, they are not going to contend this year. They might 70-ish wins, maybe.
I'd give them I don't know what the over-under set at, but I give them around 73.
Something around there. I don't think they're going to contend this year. I mean, they have a decent little group of players. They have Stroman, Schwindel,
PCA's there.
PCA's there.
I don't know why I have an obsession with PCA, but I was just high on him, and then he got traded for 2 months of Baez, and now it's just funny that he's in Chicago now.
But yeah, I don't think they can really do anything to contend this season.
Okay. Next question here is about my Padres. I don't recognize this person though, but it says, should the Padres still try to go all in this offseason to compete this year, or should they wait one more year due to Tatis's injury?
Well, considering that Tatis will be back, as long as they can stay decently afloat for those months that he's not there, and then once he gets back, you push the accelerator, they can contend.
Yeah, they just need
that's my thoughts on it.
They just need to field a team that can get through the first 3 months of the season comfortably. I'm not saying be in first place in the West by then or whatever, but just to still kind of be in the race. And yeah, I don't see why they shouldn't.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see them at least make a couple of moves this offseason. Maybe not anything like absolutely insane, but I think we definitely should still make moves and try to win this year. Because I mean, you have 6 playoff spots. And still a good roster. I mean, there's plenty of opportunity.
The Tatis injury shouldn't affect what they do with the outfield because even with him there, it would still be a problem.
I agree. Okay, there's not that many good questions here, so this will probably be the last one. What, if any, moves could the Yankees make to get themselves back in contention?
Well, we talked about a few earlier that, there's a possibility of Correa and the Story and that kind of thing. As far as like trades and stuff, I'm not really sure because they've already made some.
Maybe a little bit more pitching. And
they need some more.
Bring back Rizzo.
They definitely need some more pitching because their pitchers always tend to get hurt. So they need some more reliable pitching. I think we talked about this like a few months ago. They need more reliable.
Reliable. So Rizzo and probably some starting pitchers.
Who was the guy they traded for from the Pirates? I'm blanking.
What? From the Pirates?
There was someone from the Pirates who went to the Yankees. I forgot who it was. Oh, Taillon. So
yeah.
He's the one of the guys that we mentioned as being not insanely reliable. So they need to get more of that.
I mean, they could also take chances.
Pitching depth.
They probably don't have the room to take chances, but a guy like Chris Archer's still out there. Or maybe
although he's not
trade for a Male or something. I don't know.
That could be in play. Yeah.
All right. I think that is going to do it for this episode of the Sports World Podcast. For those of you guys that made it all the way through, we appreciate you. You should drop a like if you enjoyed. We'll see you guys next. I think later in this week, actually.
Next week, I think.
Oh, I thought we were doing Saturday.
Yeah, but are we posting same day?
I don't know.
We'll try to get it.
Anyways,
sometime.
Okay,
and anyways, peace out, guys.
Next week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all.